Hi there, and welcome in. All right, so guys, we're going to try and do something a little bit different than what I've been doing as far as the weekly overviews. Just a way to help you drop in, give you some thoughts about the current energy that we're working with, maybe help you pull up some of those subconscious vibes that are trying to get in and ask you to just take a second and stop and ground in and be present. Because if you are present, then you're going to be able to see everything in front of you. And to do this, I did bring in some tools that I have sort of used here and there, but I want to start using again just to give us not only, I would never say astrology is black and white, but astrology definitely lets us know what the forecast is, what the weather is outside. But I think if we were to work with some dice or if we were to work with some oracle cards, that's also going to give us some nuances that maybe you can pick up on that'll help you dial into some of the energy that we're stepping into, because eclipse seasons can feel extraordinarily intense in the collective and in your personal life. And especially if you have this happening on an angular house, your first, seventh, 10th, or fourth, or if you have it happening near your personal planets, this is a period of time that could feel really elevated. And if you don't know what your chart is, you can always go to schedulingfate.com. I'll show you how to get one. And there's lots of articles to help you go down the path of self discovery, even including some reports that are designed just for your chart and the opportunity to work with me. All right. So today, what we're going to be talking about is the eclipse. It's just around the corner. Of course, this was mentioned in the monthly forecast that just came out. You can find your written and detailed horoscope at schedulingfate.com. But I just wanted to give us a little bit of time to drop in to the lunar eclipse, the total lunar eclipse that we're having on September the 7th of 2025. Now, this is going to happen at 15 and 22. So this is a pretty powerful energy. It's aligned with the North Node, of course. It's inviting us to shift into the soul's next chapter. But because it's lunar, this is more so on the emotional than the physical. I'm not saying that you're not going to see anything in the physical realms, but you're definitely going to have an emotional awareness that comes up. Now, we had a partial lunar eclipse back in 2006 around the same area, which is not quite as strong as a total lunar eclipse. And then in 16, this would have been the reverse, meaning that the south node was on the Pisces axis and the north node was on the Virgo axis. We didn't have an eclipse at these same degrees, but they were definitely in the neighborhood around the spring and the fall. So if you want to reflect, because history does not repeat itself, but it definitely rhymes on some themes that came up for you around that time, I think that would also help prepare you for the energy that is either already unfolding, because we definitely feel eclipses coming in prior to when they arrive. We can feel them on the day, but we can also feel them prior and after, up to 6 months. And this is a lunar eclipse, so up to 6 months definitely on either side. But by going back and reflecting on that period of time, what were some emotional revelations that came through? What were some karmic turning points? What were you invited to do differently in your life? I think that's also a great space to drop into that would help you understand how to work with this energy. Now, this is going to be called a blood moon. It's going to ask you to feel deeply and release what is outdated and to open up to spiritual insight and healing, which is another reason why you may start seeing me or hearing me talk more about consciousness. It's not only these eclipses, it's about a lot of different placements that we have that have been engaged recently or starting to build up that I do believe is asking us to step into that inner power and understanding how your energy is impacting the field around you, or how you are allowing it to impact the field around you, and what you can do to change that. And the Pisces Virgo axis is excellent for that, because Virgo pays attention to the rituals and the details and the little tiny things that we think would never bother us. Virgo understands that that little thing could be a very significant thing for us. It helps us set up healthy rituals and helps us release old, outdated rituals. And Pisces invites us to surrender. It asks us to step into our faith, our spirituality, whatever that looks like for you, to let your intuition be your guide, to stay grounded, but have clarity and recognize that we are all one. What you dislike, what you love, that is all connected. Every single person and thing is connected on this planet. Now, the North Node in this energy is going to suggest that we are moving through a little bit of a catharsis. It's a destined turning point that you're looking at, especially again on that emotional level, because this is a total lunar eclipse, but also around spiritual growth. This is not necessarily a time for starting new projects, but it could be more so honoring the projects that you're trying to close up. Now, there's a lot of different planets that are suggesting this at the same time. We have Saturn returning to Pisces. We're really looking at what we were doing in May, and not only in May, but just a few months before that. The entire spring season in the Northern Hemisphere, or wherever you were on the planet, it was just in a different season of the year, was intense. There was a lot of, I didn't see that coming, big endings and big beginnings. And some of you right now are holding a celebration or a reward from that period of time. And some of you are still trying to piece together a story that is definitely ready to end. And because you're piecing it together, you can't see the magic that's trying to come through. And I think this eclipse will definitely help you do that. Again, it's just a time to have a lot of faith in what is emerging. Now, just one more tidbit that I wanted to share with you. I know that you guys know that I love the Sabian symbols. I think they give us something else to contemplate. Now, the eclipse is at 15 and 23, but we want to pay attention to the next degree with the Sabian symbol. And this Sabian symbol is a and this Sabian symbol, the quote for it is, in the quiet of his study, a creative individual experiences a flow of inspiration. This is a degree that asks you to step into your inner guidance. It speaks to receiving insight when you step back from the noise of the world. Inspiration comes in solitude through reflection and meditation and creative space. And I don't know about you, but a lot of people around me or people that I witness when I'm out in the public, their quote unquote creative space is just scrolling mindlessly, always on something, always engaged with some kind of device. This energy is asking you to do something different, like completely shut it off. Maybe listen to some neurobeats or anything that kind of helps you get into that quiet space and quiet those monkey thoughts. But it's definitely about solitude. And that's when you'll receive the creative downloads because that's asking you, this degree is also asking you to trust that quiet flow of ideas and visions that come from that quiet time, but also that step outside of what is possibly logical to you. This is also going to invite in a spiritual channel. It suggests being a vessel for higher wisdom. Creativity and spiritual truths are healing energy that passes through you, that either you're healing some part of you, maybe your nervous system, or you're allowed or able to see how you can help other people. It could also invite in that need for solitude or retreat or not having that hurry up and go, but more so be present. How can I take care of me first? Now, we connect that Sabian symbol with the eclipse. We're again going to see heightened intuition, inspiration, the importance of meditation and solitude and reflection and looking for insights that are going to guide us. And because it's North Node bound, it's outside of our comfort zone. It's maybe something that we've never considered. And I know that for me, meditation is very hard. I have a very quick mind, but recently I've been taking a lot of time to really work on this and chase those monkey thoughts and be present in what's trying to come through. And I have to tell you that it's very healing and very powerful. And I recommend that breath work, whatever meditation, whatever you can do to listen inside, that's what we want to be working on. Not just during this eclipse, but definitely focusing on it around this eclipse period. All right, so what I want to do now is go through each of the signs. I haven't done this in a long time. Everything's been written. But we're going to go through the signs and we're going to roll the dice. It's going to give us a little bit more insight on what energies beyond where this is happening in your sign is going to come through. We're also going to pull an oracle card. And I hope that these insights give you some more energy to dial into. All right, so we're just going to start with Aries because this is where the board is at. All right, so if you are an Aries, this eclipse that we are working with on an astrological basis is happening in the 12th and in the 6th house. So these are areas that are very much about everything that I just talked about. The Pisces is your 12th house where it's very spiritual, but it's also a blind spot for you. You're really being asked to go in and listen to that inner voice. Now, the South Node is asking you to release outdated patterns and rituals that you've been working with. We'll talk more about that in another podcast. Now, when we look at the dice and we ask ourselves, okay, there's something else that we can tell Aries to look at in this energy? We get Libra and we get the South Node and we get the 9th house. So this is asking you to look at who you're partnering with, how you may need to reassess those partnerships that you have and how that could take you, 9th house, in a new direction. Where could you go from here if you changed some of the outdated patterns that you're working around? And you may not know how to do that until you go in and reflect because you kind of you go really, really fast, Aries, but especially with Saturn, it's going to leave you just for a little bit and go back into that 12th house, but it's definitely coming back at you. Saturn is asking you to to really notice what is outdated and to be present. Now, the oracle card that we're working with as well for you is confidence. This is believe in your worth and your abilities. So many of you are finding that you have taken a knee. You have bowed, you have allowed something for a very long time when it comes to the rituals or the work that you do or the partnerships that you have had. And this eclipse is going to awaken you to what doesn't feel natural anymore. What is dampening your instinct and your vitality and how you could go forward in a different way with that. All right. So I hope that that was helpful. All right. So if you, we're going to turn this, are a Taurus, are a Taurus rising, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the dice. We'll talk about the eclipses. I'm getting these ready. So this eclipse for Taurus and Taurus rising is happening on the 11th and the fifth axis. So the eclipse that we're focusing on today is the Pisces one, and that is in the 11th house. So you may have new friends or allies coming in. You may also have an awakening around a dream that seems a little bit far-fetched, maybe seems a little bit outside of your wheelhouse, but also seems perfectly aligned if you could build the world the way that you want to. I would definitely reflect back on 2007 and to see like what did you embrace at that period of time? History doesn't repeat itself, but it definitely rhymes. All right, so for the dice, we are being also invited if you are a Taurus or Taurus rising, definitely to focus on that Pisces house, which is 11th. So, what is the dream? What is the vision? What activation or connections can you make? The fifth house, this is just underlining the eclipse overall because that's in both places there. The fifth house is wanting you to step into your creativity. What would you do? And what would you do all day, every day? If money wasn't an option, I just would do this. I wake up excited about it. That's what you're being asked to dial into. And Neptune is definitely wanting you to step into spirituality, but also understand that you are manifesting and creating the world that you're in. And what world do you want to live in? Where do you have your faith? How can you step into something maybe that you have to work on behind the closed doors? Like you have to kind of go in the back door and write something or learn something or let go of something or take care of some kind of family legacy. But once you do that, you're going to be launching. All right. So the oracle card that you are working with is harmony. So harmony is a beautiful melody in your relationships. So by going in and doing a lot of this inner work that you've been invited to do, you're going to know who you are. You're going to know your boundaries and your values, which you're really good at knowing anyways, Taurus, but you're going to have a better understanding of what those are. And you're going to naturally attract the associations, the alliances, that 1 degree of separation that gets you on the podcast or gets you in the meeting or gets you around a group of people that were hidden in plain sight. You just didn't see them, but you're seeing them now because you are going within and looking without. All right. I hope that's helpful, Taurus. And I look forward to hearing in the comments how you're already starting to see this energy. All right. So if you are a Gemini or Gemini rising, this eclipse energy is focusing on a career path. I feel like Geminis, you're definitely going to notice this just because it's angular in your chart. If you're a Gemini rising, you're feeling a lot of inspiration to go. Oops, you're feeling a lot of inspiration to go in a new direction. It could be a new career opportunity. It could be a new leadership role that you're stepping into. And it can feel just a little bit mystical, like you don't understand it. It doesn't feel as grounded as you want it to be. And it's definitely inviting you to ask yourself, who am I? Because you're around, you're able to mirror and to balance and harmonize with. And because you do that so well, sometimes you forget who am I? Who am I really? And Pisces is inviting you to check into what that is and go on a deeper level of what you need to let go of. There may be something that you are locked into or have been locked in that you're being asked to release. Now, I don't have Uranus on this board, but Uranus is also in your chart. So there's a lot of big shakeups happening around who you are as an individual. And I would lean into those. Uranus is going to go into retrograde and close some things up, but it's definitely going to be back into your wheelhouse in April. And there's some big unexpected shifts and changes. And the more you dial in, the more you calm down, especially Gemini, because you rule the nervous system. Calm your nervous system and be present. I think that's going to help you with a lot of big changes and choices that you have coming up. Now, the dice are bringing up some more things for you to think about. Again, it's the 10th house. It's crazy how it keeps underlining the eclipse. You're being asked to look at, who are you? How do you want to be known? How do you want to be remembered? Where are you going with this career? And how does it impact every corner of your life? Now, Sagittarius for you is partnerships if you're a Gemini rising. So you are also being asked to look at partnerships. Who do you want to be in alliance with? Who do you want to connect with? And how does that make the most sense for you? And the Neptune energy, Neptune is currently transiting your 11th house. So I do think there's a lot of new groups and alliances that are coming in. And what you want to do is attract alliances that are connected to the real you, who you are, where you don't have to put a mask on. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to decompress once you leave, because that's going to help you lead with that North Node in a very natural and healthy way. It'll just feel good. Like you'll wake up excited about what you're trying to do. All right. So the Oracle card that you have is acceptance. So accept others and yourself and welcome in new opportunities. Now, Gemini, I think you're pretty good at accepting others. I think this card is asking you to accept you for who you are. And once you do that, you're going to be really surprised about people who are, again, just hidden in plain sight that begin to reveal themselves and say, hey, I'm here and you and I can make magic together. How do you want to do that? All right. I hope this helps with your eclipse season. Please let me know how it's going in the comments. All right. So if you are a Cancer or a Cancer rising, this eclipse for you, and again, the written horoscopes are waiting for you at schedulingfate.com. But if you are a Cancer rising, you're going to sense this eclipse more so on a very spiritual level. Now, you have Jupiter in your sign right now. So whatever you focus on is amplified 10 times overall. So I definitely want you to dial in, or I encourage you to dial into who you are and the magic that you want to see. But this North Node eclipse is asking you to do, it could be several things. And I would love to know in the comments if you're already seeing this. It could be asking you to learn something. It could be asking you to step into spirituality. It could be asking you to travel. It's wanting you to stretch outside of your comfort zone, get outside of your nest. And because it is the nest that you're in, the nurturing blanket local environment that you're in may be starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but that is an invitation to go out, to stretch your wings and to fly and to go in a new direction. All right, so let's see what the Astro Dice are giving us to outline. Now we have Saturn. Now Saturn is stepping back into Pisces. And when it steps back into Pisces to wrap up some things, it will be in trine with your sun sign or rising sign. There's a bit of a spiritual test right here, especially because it's in your ninth house, asking you to remember what you've learned. Where do you want to go from here? And how does that make sense? The fourth house is your roots and your foundation. Now, we currently have Mars transiting through there. You want to be a little bit aware of some passive aggressive behaviors, but also to use Mars to be diplomatic and make the changes that we need to make so that we can expand with Jupiter, really express ourselves and go in a new direction with this eclipse. Now, Aquarius for you is in the eighth house, and we also have Pluto hanging out there for the next 20 years. There is a deep transformation happening. Now, this also rules your partner's money. It rules other people's money. It rules loans and grants and um, endings and beginnings. So this is really asking you to look at who your legacy is connected to, who you are bound to, and if there's needs to be any power, there needs to be any attention to how power is dispersed. Is there any I don't know how to say this. I guess you want to just make sure that you're not being passive aggressive and or that we're not emotionally being manipulated or manipulating other people, because Aquarius wants us to rise out of this and see how everyone is connected. Even if you don't agree with someone, if you take a second to imagine being in their shoes, you may find a way, especially you, Cancer, to say, yeah, I'd probably feel the same way. But the Astro Dice is just asking you to kind of lean into the spiritual test, dig into your roots, and ask yourself what your legacy is and what you want to be bound to emotionally. All right. So your card is embrace change and welcome in new possibilities. This is definitely about going in a new direction, a new horizon, that's where that North Node wants to take you. I mean, the North Node is in trine with you. So on some level, I think you're going to find some comfort, but at the same time, anything new, the first day of anything, even if you've dreamed about it forever, is a little bit scary. And that's what you're stepping into, but kind of fly through there. Let yourself embrace the new changes. All right. I hope this helps. Please let me know in the comments how this eclipse is already feeling for you. And don't forget to check out your written horoscopes at schedulingfate.com. All right. So Leo and Leo risings, let's talk about this eclipse. Now, for you, this eclipse is a little bit more on the undercurrents. It doesn't mean that you're not feeling it. It's very private. There's some kind of opportunity around shared wealth and resources, but also deep transformation, family legacy, endings, and beginnings. The North Node is asking you to look at that. So you may, if you are in a bound relationship, your partner may be experiencing some growth when it comes to finances. You may be saying there's some things that you need to let go of in order to grow and feel more whole at the same time. But in order to do that, you may, with the South Node in the second house, being really aware of what needs to be released. And that could be some kind of outdated values that you're working with. But again, this is more private. I would definitely, check into your money and your finances, but also where you are spiritually and where your values are, what's important to you. All right, let's see what the dice have to say here. All right, so we have that south node. It's letting us know that we do have to really focus on what we need to let go of. Now, Leo, you're a fixed sign. You don't like to let go of things voluntarily. It needs to be your idea. So there could be some big challenges in what you want to let go of. Like you feel like I can just make it work. I can weather the storm. And the dice is just emphasizing the south node. We have to let go of things. We have to adjust our values or lean into the values that really work and build around them. Now, the Libra side of this is going to be talking about like your local environment, how you think and people you connect to. So it may ask you, how are you approaching this? What is your thought process around this? Are you harmonizing? Are you balancing? Are you giving up too much? Are you asking too much? And how can you change that in a different way? Now, the 11th house is also about alliances. So there could be, even though this eclipse is happening on a private sector, there's a lot of, you're also witnessing a lot of things happening just in your local environment, and it's making you rethink a couple of things and underline, okay, I need to use this asset because the south node is an asset, or I need to let go of this and move in a different direction to what really makes sense. It's more of an internal thing, but we want to make sure that we're not holding on too tight, Leo, that we are finding the space to let go of what needs to let go of so we can see what's ready to come in. All right. So your oracle card, it's going to be collaboration. Our a collaboration achieves great goals. It's a beautiful moon and 3 people on there. And I love that this was already brought up with the 11th house. There's some kind of collaboration that you're being asked to step into. And with that collaboration, this North Node could be bring a lot of finances and wealth into your area. But again, you're going to have to maybe invest or change the way that you're thinking about something to really understand this eclipse. And to do that, you can't be rigid and locked in. All right. I hope this helps. Please let me know in the comments how you're already feeling this eclipse. And don't forget to grab your written horoscopes at schedulingfate.com. All right. So if you are a Virgo or a Virgo rising, this eclipse is definitely hitting close to home because this is going to be happening the opposite of your sign. So you'll have one in your sign at the other end of this month at 29 degrees. But this entire eclipse cycle is very prominent for you. And I think if you were to reflect back to 2007, you're going to understand some big stories that happened at that period of time and how they've unfolded and led you to where you are now. Now, there's going to be something around your partners or your partnerships. This could be like if you were married, because there's a contract there, but this could also be open enemies. It could be people that your clients or you're in contract with. There's something where you're being asked to surrender to the partnership. That doesn't mean give up who you are. It means that you're going to trust that I don't understand this, but I feel like I need to be here. Or there could be some action happening around your partners that are impacting every corner of your life. And there's some kind of rebranding happening. Now, that's like a business term, but there's some kind of this is the new me that's been emerging all through this eclipse season. It could be a little bit more prominent for you. Now, there's a lot of changes because of this happening at this axis, also in that home work life balance or how you're known. You could have a new identity coming in. I was this, but now I'm that. That could be I don't know, it could be from something going from a mom to a Gigi, or I was a brother, now I'm an uncle. Like there's like some kind of elevation or change in how you're known, but that could also be a work person. That could also be a work title. I was an employee, now I'm an entrepreneur. Look for activations, new things coming in for you. All right. So the Astro Dice. I went too far with that one. All right, so this is asking you to dial into the second house, Sagittarius, and the moon. This is asking you to dial into the moon and the second house and Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius is going to be your third house. So this is something in your local environment, almost like a grassroots startup that you can do. So maybe the partnerships or the clients that you find are really close to home and they can help inspire you, help you let go of what you need to let go of or transform so you can partner with other people. The second house says this is going to really bring in some values or resources to you if you dial into those. And as I am recording this, the moon is in Scorpio. So that is also the second house. So this is saying that Virgo, that there's something with partnerships or clients that's going to really reinforce your values and help you feel like emotionally connected to it. And I would want you to lead into that because I understand how hard it is to have the South Node in your sign where it feels like I was on this plan and then the universe just took a hard right, then a hard left, and it spun me in circles. And now I don't know what direction I'm going in. But if you follow that into the faith, you're going to find a way, the faith of Pisces in that direction, you're going to find a way to let go of the little things and lean into the possibilities, beautiful possibilities. Now, the card that you have today is divinity. Every moment is filled with divinity. Cherish it. And I think that's something that you're good at, Virgo. You're good at noticing the little things, but maybe I would encourage you to notice the little beautiful things, the little things that are working, the things that you love and admire and want to bring more of to you. That's very, very magical. All right, I'd love to know in the comments how you are already experiencing this eclipse. Please don't forget to check out your full written horoscopes at schedulingfate.com. All right. So if you are a Libra or a Libra rising, this eclipse season is happening a little bit in a blind spot for you. It's happening on the axis of the sixth and the 12th house. So this is a period of time where it feels like it's behind the scenes, but it definitely matters because it's in your mind, it's in your scope, it's in your energy. The sixth house are the rituals and the habits that you do every day, but the 12th house is that spirituality. It's the subconscious. It's what takes over when you're asleep. It's where your mind drifts to. That's where the south node is asking you to release outdated patterns. But this north node is saying we can't do this until we fix these rituals, how we are harmonized or balanced day in and day out. What do we put into our bodies? What do we say? What do we think? Where do we go? What do we allow into our energy field? Now, with the north node here, you're being invited to make some changes and to rebalance and to reharmonize those daily rituals. And it's likely something that seems far-fetched, but is very much in tune. Like as soon as you hear it, you dial in. Like that there's a room full of noise, but you hear this one voice or you hear this one person saying something and you're drawn to them. And that's okay, this is the direction, the changes that I need to make. It's all about mind and body balance, finding that inner harmony so you can use the energy everywhere else. And with Mars transiting through your sign right now, you're definitely charged up. You just want to use that energy to make these changes in a healthy way, not too much, not too fast, not too little. Just rock it out. I know there's a lot going on with your career because you have Jupiter in that 10th house, but it's all going to work out for the best. Lean into what you want to see. All right. So the Astro Dice that you're being invited gives us another layer to look at here is some of your favorite placements here. So we're working with Venus, which is your ruling planet. Now, Venus is currently in Leo, so it's all about alliances and groups and how can we connect to people. The seventh house for you is Aries, but the seventh house is in trine with where Venus is in the sky right now. So this is an invitation to partner in a healthy way. So once you get that mind and body in balance, you're going to find a way you will naturally attract the partnerships and the alliances that you want to see. And this Capricorn energy that's coming in, I think that's an invitation for you to find your voice, to speak with a grounded clarity, or ensure that what you're doing or what you're thinking or the thoughts that you have every day are something that's going to build into something in a positive way. Now, the oracle card that you have is creativity. I love this for you. Creativity is your inner expression. Unleash it. And I love that because with the South Node and the 12th house, that is exactly the invitation that you have. The 12th house is where we have a tremendous amount of creativity, where we're really connected to realms that are unseen, but definitely woven into our souls. And this energy says, let's let it go of it. And so does the South Node. In order to let go of it, you have to bring it into your rituals, bring it into your daily habits. So creativity is not necessarily painting or writing or singing or playing an instrument. Creativity could be creatively solving a problem, creatively gardening, creatively working with relationships, finding a different way you see the disconnect and you have a creative way to solve that and make it magic for other people. Something to think about, Libra. All right, don't forget to check out your full written horoscopes at schedulingfate.com and let me know in the comments how you're already experiencing this eclipse. All right. So if you are a Scorpio or a Scorpio rising, this North Node eclipse is in trine with you. And this energy, I would definitely encourage you to reflect back on how you felt in 2007. If there were some big changes that were happening anywhere in your life, more so like in the creative fields than anything, because we're looking at the fifth house here. So did you begin something new? Did you express something new? Did you have a baby? Did you start a business? Did you start a creative project? How did that go? Where's it going for you now? Are you ready to level up? Are you ready to start something new in that area? Now, at the same time, because this is in your fifth house, there's probably some kind of dream that you have to let go of, or maybe a network that you've been a part of for a long time. And you're realizing that, you know what, I've given all my energy to this. I've been really outwardly focused. I need to come down and drop in to this creative space. That's something that I would consider with this energy. All right. So let's see if we get some more layers to work with here. Now, the Astro Dice again is asking you to really look at that 11th house, also Aries and the sun. And I think this is very, very revealing because Saturn is getting ready to go back into that fifth house where this eclipse is going to be, not at the same degrees, but it's going to go back and give you a bit of a spiritual test or an awakening to something that it's been trying to teach you, some hard work that you've been doing in this area for the last 2.5 years. And then it's going to move into Aries, which is your sixth house. So we're going to take this creative energy and then we're going to bring it into our daily rituals so that it can support our overall health and wealth, but do so in a way that hasn't been done before. Aries is the first sign. It's the light that matches. It's the match that lights the candle and says, okay, let's lead on. I'm going to inspire you. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to follow my instincts. I'm going to let go of things that I'm tied to and reach for something else, which is very hard to do for a Scorpio or a Scorpio rising. Now, the sun is also currently, we both have the sun and the 11th house coming up with Astro Dice. This could be an invitation for you to strongly look at your dreams and your visions. What has been left undone or unsaid? What do you need to release to reach for something else? And how can you do that by following your intuition and really leaning in to that creative space? What do you love without condition? What would you do all day, every day if you could? All right. So your oracle card to add some more advice is inspiration. Inspiration is everywhere. Be sure to capture your ideas. I definitely think that when you unplug and you go within and start to untangle and understand and chase the tethers of your emotions, you're going to find some inspiration. But right now, you may feel just a little bit chained or shackled by your emotions. There could be some shadows there, some energy that you've been holding on to, regret, betrayal, or just like loyalty. Sometimes loyalty gets very outdated, and this energy is asking you to reconnect with your spiritual energy, your inspiration, and that it's okay to be newly inspired. All right, I hope this helps you, Scorpio and Scorpio rising. Don't forget to get your full horoscopes at schedulingfate.com. And please let me know in the comments how this eclipse is already resonating for you. All right. So if you are a Sagittarius or a Sagittarius rising, this eclipse is hitting more so close to home. It's squaring off with your first house. If you're a Sagittarius rising, that's the north node and the south node. Now, you've been working with the square off energy of the nodes all year. And so you're not like in a new, wow, this just landed on me energy. But depending on where, if you have any placements here, it could definitely feel intense at times because squares bring conscious action. We see it, we can't ignore it, we can't push it down, we can't pretend that it'll be not be there any longer. This north node is asking you to reconnect with your roots. And your roots could be physical, spiritual, it could be actual people, but it's not necessarily just the ones that you're aware of. This is an ancestral house. And because it's a north node, you could be the one that are putting the seeds in. You could be the root that legacies and generations are going to grow from. But it's really wanting you to come back home to yourself. And in order to come back home to yourself, the South Node in Virgo, you're going to have to let go of maybe a reputation or maybe how you were known or maybe a way that you have been leading and accept there's a different way that's more at home and at peace. And once you dial into what that is, then you're going to be able to attract and magnetize how you do want to be known, a new story, a new version. Endings are beginnings. These are revelations. This is a quest for you to go on, Sagittarius. And I would love to know how you're already feeling this in the comments. All right. So some more advice to kind of dial us in here is that we have Taurus, the 12th house, and Mercury. Now, Taurus for you is sixth house energy. So it's asking you what kind of rituals you have every day. How dialed in to them are you? Are you aware of everything that goes into your mouth, everything that goes into your mind, everything that you're taking into your energy level? And how valuable is that? And how can you ground and be present and bring in something that is valuable? And then the 12th house for you is Scorpio, which is asking you to go even deeper. We have the Scorpio moon here as I'm recording it. I don't know if it'll still be when I post it, but it's saying, okay, what emotional ties and tethers do you have? Where are you holding yourself hostage? Is there some kind of trigger word or emotion that you hear and it automatically takes that brilliant imagination that you have down a road that is not good? And I want you to think about this because I'm a Sagittarius rising. So I'm speaking to you from a place of understanding. If you really think about your cortisol levels or your energy and you have a vast imagination and say something happens and you experience it once. That's one hit of dopamine, cortisol, whatever. But then you imagine 4 different ways that could have happened. So that's 4 different hits on top of that. And then you imagine what is gonna happen next, and you do it like 10, 20 ways because 'cause you're prolific. Look at how many different hits of energy that you're putting through your body or your physical realms, and how is that impacting you? Scorpio is asking you, what is underneath the current and how can you let go of it? How can you use your mind and your imagination in a positive way to feel more grounded and clear on where you are? Now, if we talk about Mercury is currently in Leo. It's getting ready to finish up its stay there. It's been in a retrograde, but it is really taking you down the spiritual realms. It's really asked you to go inside and learn and explore and ask questions and where is your heart? What really makes sense to you? That's what Mercury's been asking. And now it's getting ready to move into Virgo to help you take action on that. All right. So your oracle card, Sag Risings. And I'd love to know if I have any fellow Sages in the comments out there. All right, so happiness. Happiness, I don't know if you can see this card completely, but my magnets are going crazy. All right, so happiness comes from a fulfilled heart and harmonious relationships. So, in order to have a harmonious relationship, especially around your home where this North Node is going to be, you have to be really clear about letting go or what you need to let go of or how you are showing up day in and day out. All right, I hope this helps. Please don't forget to get your full written horoscopes at schedulingfate.com and let me know how this is feeling for you already. All right, Capricorn and Capricorn rising. Now, this eclipse, the North Node and South Node axis, has been happening for you around an area of your life that has to do with your local environment, but also where you're going from here. The North Node eclipse is happening in your third house. Now, the third house is how you think, it's how you communicate, it's people that you connect with day in and day out, but it's also your mind. It's how powerful your mind is. And with this North Node here, it's really opening you up to new concepts. How can you think about something differently? And how do those actions impact your entire environment, your daily rituals, how your day is set up? In order to really understand that, we have to go into the ninth house and let go of some outdated patterns. Maybe you've been out there in the world exploring and sharing your voice, but now you have to come back to a local level. And that we'll talk about that eclipse in another episode. But this right now, this eclipse is saying, how are you thinking? What's important to you? Why does that matter? And there's a lot of big changes that you have already been starting to experience at a foundational level in your life because of the energies of Saturn and Neptune moving into your fourth house. I would really lean into the invitation of how can my mind be a gift and build something powerful for me? And what do I need to surrender in order to make that happen? Because a lot of times you could be holding on to your rituals or things that have always worked for you, like talismans, but we are in a constantly evolving timeline and energy. So, what do you need to let go of in order to rebuild what you're working on in a powerful way? All right. So, some more insights that you can add to this is that we're working with the seventh house and your sign. So, this is really asking you who you are and how do you want your foundations to be set up? What can you envision in a powerful way? And who can you partner with in order to make that a reality? So, this energy, along with the eclipse, is really asking you to look at self, what's important, and what might be a little bit maddening about this for you, Capricorn, is that Neptune is not going to give you the reality that you love. Neptune is going to tell you to build it and to build it from nothing and trust that it is real once you build it. And that's the difficult part because you like to rely on systems or structures that have always worked for you. And this is saying that you need to build from spirit. All right. So your card is love. Love is everywhere you open your heart to feel it. So where are you opening your heart to love? And where are you closing it because of blame, our rules, our past, our karmic energy? How can you be more present in who you are? How can you love yourself more? By loving yourself, you're going to attract the partnerships that you want to attract. And you're also going to understand what your truth is, where your faith is leading you in this new direction. All right. I hope that helps. Don't forget to get your full horoscope at schedulingfate.com and let me know how this eclipse is feeling in the comments. All right. So if you are an Aquarius or an Aquarius rising, this eclipse is happening in the second house. Now, the North Node eclipse, which is the one that we're talking about in Pisces, is really giving you a vision or an idea about what your values are. And they could be changing. They could be leveling up from something that you did in 2007. You could be remembering how far you came from that point and how you want to get back to it. But what is important to you and why it's important to you, and what are the skills that you have in order to gain those resources? Those are some things that I would invite you to consider with that. Now, it's by trying, it's also activating your career and reputation, but also your habits and your rituals. So there could be some new things that are starting to come in. And I know with you having Pluto in your house, your first house, you are, if you're an Aquarius rising, you're definitely used to working through some power changes and shifts that have been happening over the last couple of years. But this eclipse, I think, is going to help you dial in to the values that you have around who you are becoming with Pluto working its undercurrent magic on you. And having Jupiter in Cancer, I think that you're being invited to bring a lot of abundance and clarity into your daily environment. Now, I will tell you, Aquarius, what you focus on, you're going to see an abundance of day in and day out. So, what do you want to focus on? What kind of ritual, what kind of work, what kind of habits, what do you want to bring in? Where's that magic? All right, so this kinda just popped out before I did the device. So your card is discovery. Discover the treasures within and follow your passion. Look at that moon. It's like perfect because this is a blood moon that we're stepping into. All right, so the dice that we're gonna add to this story is the South Node and Leo and the 10th house. So that makes sense with how this was coming across with this 10th house energy. There is something here that says step out and express who you are, find that magic and how you want to be. As I'm recording this, the moon is in Scorpio. So there's a lot of power in understanding who you are and what you need to let go of in order to reach that. The Leo house for you is the 7th house. So who do you want to partner with? How can you balance that partnership? What have you learned through the recent Mercury retrograde in Leo? What is Venus exposing or bringing into the 7th house? What kind of partnerships or clients are lining up for you? All right. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to get your full horoscope at schedulingfate.com and let me know in the comments how you're already experiencing this energy. All right. So if you are a Pisces or a Pisces rising, this is definitely going to be a powerful eclipse for you because it's happening in your sun sign or your rising sign. Now, I think with powerful is an interesting word because some people hear powerful and fear comes in. Some people hear powerful and they get super excited. But with the North Node in your sign, you are really being asked to stretch outside of your comfort zone, to chase something that is not as known or comfortable. And it's not something that you can escape from. And I think that I'm not saying that every single Pisces and Pisces rising has this tendency to quote unquote escape. Some Pisces escape by cleaning everything. Some Pisces escape by going on a walk or working with large animals. Like there's something that you do to step outside of reality, which helps you recharge and reconnect. Continue to do that. But you want to be present for what this eclipse is starting to bring into your life on an emotional level because it's impacting every corner of your life. Your first house impacts every corner. It's activating your reputation, your partnerships, your home, and every single place in between. Who are you? Who are you becoming? And how excited are you about this? All right. So, some more insight to add to this is that we are working with Taurus and Mars in the 11th house. So, there is some very strong partnerships or collaborations that are trying to emerge right now. And these are ones that will build over a lifetime, like one building block at a time. And the more you express who you are, the more of this is me, this is my energy, the easier it is going to be for you to attract them. Now, Mars is currently in Libra. So when it comes to other people's money and partnerships and agreements and transformations and kind of going through it, but landing exactly where you want to be because you're leading a legacy or building a legacy is very prominent for you as well. Now, Taurus is your third house. So it feels like there's a lot going on with you as an individual. But because of that, there's this unveiling of new people and new associations that are coming into your spectrum. And because they're really building on a legacy. You could be taking the reins of a legacy or shared wealth or resources that you have been around your whole life. Like now it's your turn to lead. Now it's your turn to say, okay, this is I've leveled up into a new chapter. Like a lot of people with these placements, this is when you get married, go to college, have babies, get a new career, graduate from college, like big leaps. And as you take these big leaps, you're finding the collaborations that you need to find the partnerships that have a lot of motivation, but are also very balanced in how they operate and work together. All right. So your card for this is going to be hope is a beam of light in the darkness. So if you have been kind of treading water and saying, okay, wow, I just went through a ton of things in the spring. There was just a lot of activation, a lot of wake up calls, a lot of like, where am I? How did this happen in the spring? And now I'm just trying to gather myself. Where am I at right now? Where do I need to go from here? You're starting to see the fruits of those labors, of all those big shifts that maybe you felt like you weren't ready for in the spring. You're seeing how perfect and on time they were for you in that moment. There's a lot of hope percolating around. And with hope, we have to have surrender. We have to let go of things in order to go in a new direction. But you have everything you need. This light is just coming right through you. It is grounding you with beautiful energy. All right. So don't forget to get your full written horoscopes at schedulingfate.com. I'd love to know in the comments how you are already resonating with this energy. Okay, so that is all the signs. If any of you stay to listen to the final closing here, don't forget to go to schedulingfate.com, not only to get your chart if you don't have one, your horoscopes if you haven't gotten them, but there's also personalized reports there. And if you're part of my Moongate membership that's less than $5 a month, you get 20% off those personalized reports. You also get 20% off working with me, whether you're giving me a question and I give you the recording back, or we're working one on one, we're sitting down together. All right. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here and for your support. I hope this was helpful. Talk to you soon.